Okay, so we'll start. We're just going to have a chat because we've swapped seats. So I'm going to play the role of the driving instructor in a little while, and you're going to play the role of a pupil. And we've talked about planning a lesson, and the theme of today's lesson is going to be rural roads. And we're going to be doing this lesson for a learner driver, and it's their first time on rural roads, so it's a new topic. So we're going to be keeping it quite simple and sort of build them up into it. So this is like their first lesson on rural roads. And we've talked about a route. I mean, we're in where we're situated, literally just over there is a nice little bit of country road. It's got a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's wide, so there'll be no narrow bits with passing places. There's enough room for two-way traffic on the whole bit of this road. There is a dip on it, so we'll have to talk about the dip. So I'm going to have to talk about what will be in the briefing needs to match what we're doing, and I need to think, is this route too hard for you? Because if it was, I'd adapt my route.
Yeah.
But let's say you've got the skills to deal with this, or you will have by the end of the briefing and the end of the practical session. So on this bit of road, national speed limit, like I say, it's wide enough. It's got a centre white line for the majority of it. Then it does finish, so the centre white line will finish, but the road is still wide enough. And there's a dip on it, and there's a couple of severe bends.
Okay.
And the stretch of road is about 2 miles, 2.5 miles. And then it finishes up coming into a 30 limit into a village. And so it's just a nice short little lesson, and we're just going to introduce that concept of driving. So we've just been talking off camera about planning lessons, and so we talked about route planning. Like I've just summed up what we did there, and we filled out this little I'll sort of show it just so the camera can see. We did a little mind map basically with rural roads in the middle, and then we built on top of it. So, and this was done by Q&A by me talking to you. So I asked you what sort of things would you include in this lesson for rural roads, and you said use of speed, and I thought, yeah, that's good. Then we explored about, well, what do we need to know about? So we talked about speed limits and knowing what the speed limits are. Then I said to you, well, how are we going to judge bends? And you said, oh yeah, we need to include judgment of how to judge our correct speed for the conditions. So I said, well, how are we going to do that? And you said signs, so there might be warning signs, tell us. And then I said, well, if there's no signs, how would you judge the severity of a bend if there's no signs? And you were stuck. And I said, well, have you heard of limit points? And you said no. So I said, ooh, we'll include that in the briefing. So we wrote down on here limit point analysis as well. We looked at the system of car control. You knew about MSPSL, but not about IPSCA. I don't want to make it too confusing, so I'm going to we'll stick with MSPSL because that's what your learners will be used to. So we said, well, what else? So we got use of speed, then we thought about what other things, and you said hazard perception. So I thought, well, that'd be quite handy if we've got a pupil that hasn't done their theory test yet. So you could play the role of a pupil that's not done their theory, and you've been practicing now with hazard perception. Yep. Let's say you get 0 in a few clips. So I'm thinking, well, perfect opportunity to talk about hazard perception on rural roads and the sort of things we might encounter, animals and tractors and all that kind of stuff, mud on the road. You said meeting, and I said, yeah, that would be a good one if our route today included narrow roads and passing places. And we agreed that because we wanted to keep this quite simple and short, that we'd save that for another lesson, because we could add more stuff, couldn't we? Driving at night, adverse weather conditions, the list could go on. We talked about OAP, didn't we, and coast. We can include, and then before you know it, you can, if you put everything you could possibly include on rural roads, you'd have a massive lesson or a massive briefing, and you'd front load your people, and they'd be like, oh, can't remember all that. So we're just going to tailor this briefing to what lies ahead on this planned route that will match your ability, that you will be able to do it with my help. So that's kind of like, that's the thought process of planning a lesson. Then you'd use your planning sheet, wouldn't you? So you'd do your mind map, and then you'd plan this lesson into little phases. So like there'd be a briefing, setting the objectives, a practice drive, a debrief, for example. So you'd break that down, because if you're planning for your part 3, you'd be delivering a 1 hour lesson. On a normal lesson, we do 2 hour lessons. You'd be planning a 2 hour lesson. So you'd do rural roads and something else, or a couple of other things, So we're just going to stick to the rural roads and plan that. And you asked me if I could do a demonstration lesson, so you can sort of watch it back. So I hope I do it all right. No pressure. And yeah, so that sort of sets the theme up for the lesson, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to just rub this little mind map off, because I might be using this to explain a bit. Well, I will be using this to do my little briefing. So I'm just going to have a clean sheet. I could have, of course, used my tuition presenter with pre-planned pictures and words in it, but I think I'm just going to go on a blank canvas today, and we're going to build the lesson in front of you. You'll see what I mean. So it's a bit like, like if you've ever had a PowerPoint presentation, it reveals things as they're needed, don't they? Whereas those briefing books show you the whole picture, the whole content, and that could be a bit overwhelming. So I'm just going to build on it gradually. As I talk about things, I'll add them to the picture and ask you questions. So you'll see the lesson grow in front of you, just like what we did with this mind map. It sort of grew, didn't it, in front of your eyes. That's my preferred way of doing it. But if as a new training instructor, if you're starting with a blank canvas like that, and you've got all this stuff, you might forget, mightn't you? So that's why the tuition presenter is really good, because they give you like your little key notes. Think, oh yeah, I need to talk about that. Yeah. Or you might think, oh, I won't talk about me, and I'll cross that up here for another day. So you use them because they help you. But when you've been doing it a while, you just sort of you to be client-centered. I'm tailoring this lesson to you and your needs and my route, and I can't use a generic template for that all the time, so it's tailor-made.
Makes sense.
I'm good. Right, okay, so we're going through. So you've done your cockpit drill.
Yeah.
And we've done all the welcome, you're all right, and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, so I'll just go into it. So you're just going to play this role of a pupil that's not done rural roads.
Okay.
Let's say you've done 12 hours, and you've got car control sorted, so we can sort of call you part trained. You can control the car. You don't stall anymore. You can change gear. You don't look at the gear. So you can drive a car. We're talking national standards. You've definitely achieved level 2. So you're I've got to think what level 2 is there. You've got the basic car control.
Yeah.
And we're sort of now moving on to things in the highway code and how to drive in the traffic system. So levels 3 and 4. So you've got that sort of good foundation of skills so that I can do this lesson. Right, so I think that sets the scene quite nicely. Can you pass me a little bottle of water? So before I get into this, I'll just have a little drink. Cheers for that. And I'll just call you by your name, Mitch.
Okay.
All right. And don't be afraid of getting things wrong, because you are playing the role of people. Don't think you've got to
I think of any questions I wouldn't expect.
Because the limit point is going to be something actually quite real.
Yeah.
Isn't it? In this, you'll be like, oh yeah, well, are you? Because I said, well, I'll wait for the briefing. I'll tell you about that when we do it in the briefing. Okay, so yeah, so don't be afraid of getting things wrong. You are playing the role of a pupil, and and we're delivering a little short client-centered lesson on rural roads. Yeah. Okay, so let's go into it. Okay, so Mitch, have you done all your cut picture? Have you got everything set up? You're all happy?
Yeah.
Brilliant, good stuff. So at the end of the last lesson, can you remember what we said we were going to cover today?
Rural roads.
Yeah, we did. And so are you still happy to have a go at that today?
Yeah.
You still keen to do that? And let me just ask you, why do you want to do that? How does that fit into your training so far? And
it's supposed to be really dangerous, rural roads.
well, yeah, it can be. Yeah, so and it's a new subject for you, isn't it? We've not done it yet. We've driven in around town and residential areas. You've done your roundabouts, your junctions, and we were just talking that we haven't done the rural roads yet. And I feel you're at that stage now that we can take you on some rural roads. You're absolutely right; they can be quite tricky. So we'll have a little chat about them first. What are some of the risks that you might encounter? Have a little Q&A session and just sort of explore some of those things, and just sort of have a strategy to how we're going to cope with them and deal with them so we can do it safely.
Okay.
Yeah. So and just remind me, have you done your theory test?
No,
yeah.
I haven't.
Have you got it booked?
Yes.
When is it?
Next week.
Wait. So this will be good. So how are you getting on with the hazard perception part of the test?
Not so well. Some might get zeros on.
Okay. So the sort of things we're doing today, you would have seen on these videos. So you might have seen clips on country roads. And what's your understanding? When are you supposed to click or press that space bar?
When you spot a hazard.
So, and so are you clicking for potential hazards as you see something potentially developing? Or do you click for something that actually has developed and is in front of you, like a little animal just ran across the road?
I'm clicking too late.
Okay, so what we want to do to get you the 5 points, and to make you, more importantly, make you a safe driver, we want to be able to see the potential hazards starting to develop. So it might be a warning sign that animals might run across the road, or a wooded area. I think all animals, deers live in the woods, they might run across the road. So we're sort of thinking that we're sort of anticipating that might happen, so that you can start thinking about it earlier. And then as soon as you see the hazard developing, like a deer about to run across, as soon as you see it on the side, click.
Okay.
Yeah, because the next thing it might come out. Or it might be a pedestrian walking down the road. Let's say someone's going to go for a bus stop and a woman's walking down the road and the bus is coming on the other side. You might think, she might go for that. But when that hazard develops, when she looks over her shoulder, you think, why did she do that? Next thing she's going to do, she's going to start going towards the road. So if you click when you see that starting to develop, is when you want to do it. So that'll help you with theory. And we'll bring that to life today with a real, real driving experience of seeing hazards developing and things like that. So talking about hazards, rural roads. So what sort of hazards would you expect? Could you anticipate on rural roads?
Other vehicles? Other cars?
Other vehicles? Yeah, what type of vehicles might you get on the rural roads? So you get other cars, yeah?
Tractors,
yeah, exactly. And any other type of farm machinery. So what's the characteristics of farm vehicles? And
slow, wide.
Slow and wide, that's it. So we want to watch out for them, because if the roads are narrow, there might not be enough room on the road. So we need to think about that. We might need to consider stopping. Have we talked about OAP before?
Yes.
You can say no.
Say no.
All right, let's talk about OAP. So OAP is not old age pensioner. We're going to look at observation. I'll write it down so that we've got an O. So observations, A for anticipation, and P for a plan. So if we observe, we might see a flashing amber beacon in the distance. Think, that could be a tractor coming towards us.
Yeah.
So we've observed it. We can anticipate it's going to be wide, might be on our side of the road. And so what would be the plan?
Slow down.
Slow down, or even
Stop.
That's it. So if we can use OAP today, that'll really help you with your hazard perception and raise your awareness. And with our observations, want to get our eyes on full beam, looking right down that road to see these things early and scanning. So you're looking far, near, scanning, and to the rear, see what's happening behind. Because on a rural road, what kind of things might overtake you?
Other cars.
They might.
Motorbikes.
Yeah, and motorbikes. Yeah, so we're going to have all 3D observations all the way around the car, trying to anticipate what might happen. So we'll get more on that as we get out on the roads and deal with hazard perception. So let me ask you another question about rural roads. What's the speed limit if a national speed limit applies on a rural road? Do you know?
60.
Good. It is. So do you have to do 60 miles an hour on rural roads?
Would pupils normally say yes?
They could say what they like. Everyone's different. So say what you want to say. Yes. Okay, so you're saying yes. Okay, well, we need to drive at a safe speed. So the national speed limit is not a target, it's a maximum. And if we can do that safely, then yeah, we'll aim to get up to 60 miles an hour. But what's the highway case? So this will help you with your theory test coming up. Regardless of the speed limit, what's your responsibility as a driver? What must you be able to do?
Drive safely.
To be able to stop.
Stop.
You must be able to stop well within the distance seen to be clear. So if you can't see what's coming up around the corner, you've got to be able to stop that car.
Okay. Regardless
of the speed limit. So like I say, it's not a target. But what would be the consequence if we drive too slow? If there's a speed limit of 60 and you're driving like at 30 or too slow, is that a potential risk? Is that a hazard?
People behind get frustrated.
Yeah, so you might encourage them to overtake when it's not safe to do so, or just frustrate them, like you say. So we do want to be at a safe speed. So we talk about speed limits. Let's talk about like the physical characteristics of rural roads. So describe rural roads. Are they long and straight and wide, or how are they?
Normally quite narrow and like bendy.
Yeah, they're really variable.
Yeah,
they can be long and straight and wide, and they can be narrow and twisty. So the section of road we're going to go on today is wide. It's going to have a centre white line for the majority of it, but there will be twists and bends in it. So let's say you're driving towards a bend, and you're driving at a safe speed. Let's say up to 50 or 60 miles an hour. How are you going to judge the severity of a bend? How will you judge that speed to be the right speed by the time you arrive there? Don't know. Okay, so we should look at that. So let's just draw a bend. So I'm just going to draw a little bend to say we're all right. No. You're driving from this approach.
Yep.
So that's you driving towards here. And I'm just going to put some road markings on here. So here we've got long white lines and short gaps. What do they tell us?
Hazard.
Hazard approaching. Good. If the lines are short with longer gaps, what does that mean? Like that. If the lines look like that, what would that tell us? Just marking the middle of the road. Okay. Do all country roads have a middle line marking them? No. No, they don't. So that's another thing about rural roads. So they might not have a centre white line to divide the lanes. So you should always assume they're two-way. If there's no centre white line, it could be a bit narrower. Yeah. There might not be enough room for you and that tractor to get past each other. Okay. So if you're driving towards these bends, so we're looking for information. So if we've got long white lines, they're telling us there's a hazard. We might get, what else might we get to tell us this bend's coming up?
Warning signs.
Warning signs. So what shape is a warning sign?
Triangle.
Does it point up or down?
Up.
Good. So we've got a warning sign, and this warning sign's got a bend on it. Okay. So we might also get slow written on the road. Have we talked about what that can stand for to help that make it more memorable? speed low, observe warning.
Okay.
So if you see a warning sign and a slow on the road, they're normally paired up. So you think, why have they put slow on the road? Think speed low, observe the warning sign. Okay, you don't always have a warning sign, but it's just a good way to think of it. Okay, so on approach this bend, we've got signs and information, road markings telling us of the hazard approaching. Now, do you think all bends on rural roads have this information? No. So, if there's no, let's rub off the sign. So if there's no warning sign, they haven't written slow on the road, they might not have even put the white lines down the middle of the road. So you're just approaching this bend. Now how are you going to judge it? Okay, so now we're going to look at something called limit point analysis. And this will help you judge the severity of a bend on what you see. Okay. So if you're sat in this car here, you'd be sat on that right side there, wouldn't you?
Yep.
And as you look forward towards the bend, let's say there's a hedge. So you have tall hedge. Look at the rural road we're going to go on, big hedges. So your visibility is going to be restricted. You won't see through the bend, will you? You're not going to see through that corner. Okay. So your line of sight, you're going to see this little corner of the road here. And so if we draw a little dotted line, you'll see that, and your view will continue to the other side there. You'll see the near side and the off side, 2 points. What that look like from your point of view is that, well, the near side and the off side kind of meet at an arrowhead or a limit point. So now we're going to call that the limit point. Okay. So as you're driving towards that corner, what must you be able to do before you reach that limit point?
You have to stop.
Stop. Well within the distance, seems to be clear. So as you're driving towards a corner, if that limit point's not moving, it's just a fixed point, what are you going to be doing with your speed?
Reducing.
Good. So you're going to do, and how are you going to do that?
Fill off the gas.
Good, yeah. Fill off the gas first. What does that give you?
Engine braking.
Engine braking. And then what are you going to need to do if that limit point's still getting closer?
Use the brake.
Apply the brakes. Before all of that, what are you going to check?
Mirrors.
Very good. So you're going to apply the brakes to get the speed down, and then you're going to keep on the brakes as you approach this bend until when you get to a point nearer to the bends, you're sitting there. What's going to happen to your view?
You get to see more, or improve.
You're going to see more.
Yeah.
So now the angles are changing, aren't they? So now you'll see through an angle like that. So now the limit point has moved away from you. So you're going to be on the brakes, slowing the car down while that limit point's at a fixed point. Slowing, slowing, slowing. But as you get closer to the bend, the limit point's going to start to move. At that point, we're going to select an appropriate gear and accelerate around the corner. Now, when I say accelerate around the corner, I don't mean to speed up on the corner. I just want you to match the limit point. So as the limit point just creeps away from you, you just slightly press the gas and go with it. You're not adding speed, you're just maintaining speed. And do you know what the benefit of just maintaining speed through the corner is? Do you know there is a benefit of doing that? Do you know what that is? Okay, well let's imagine this is your car. So let's say we're going down the road and we're about to go around this bend. Okay, so when you're driving along, when you press the accelerator, where does the weight of the car balance? Well, when you accelerate, you just push it to the back slightly.
Yep.
So you kind of balance the car on all four wheels.
Yep.
When you de-accelerate, when you lift off the gas, what happens to the weight? Where does the weight shift?
Oh, it goes forward.
It just drops forward, doesn't it, a bit? And when you just accelerate, let's say you're just imagine doing 30 miles an hour on a straight bit of road. Just by maintaining 30, the car just sits up and balances, doesn't it? Beautiful. Yep. That's how you want your car, nice and balanced. When you de-accelerate, weight shifts to the front, and when you brake, what happens to the weight of the car? More now. So now more weight of that car is taken by the front wheels of the car. And what do the front wheels do?
Control.
Steer. So we don't want to overload these front wheels going around the corner, do we? So this is why we're going to lose all our speed in a straight line before the bend. So then we get near the bend and the limit point's sort of moving away. So now we're coming off the brakes, we're getting the car stable again. It's picking a gear. Then we just accelerate lightly around the corner to maintain speed.
Okay.
And what that does is just lift the weight off the front and distributes the weight evenly on all four. Okay, because when you go around a corner, what happens to the weight of the car?
Shifts,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if you went around too fast, you'd shift all the weight to there and you'd overload these outside ones. If you apply and brake as well, that front right's overloaded, isn't it?
Yes.
And what can happen if you overload?
Skid.
You could skid, and then the car would start. In an extreme situation, you'd lose the back end. So it's really important that we get all that speed off in a straight line before the bend. Wait till the limit point goes, pick an appropriate gear, and just lightly accelerate. Maintain the limit point running away from you as you go around the corner. And then not only will it be safe, but your passengers will feel like, oh, that was really smooth. Have you ever been in a car when you go around a corner like a taxi, like that? That's because they've not taken the speed off before the bend. They're just going in too fast and shifting the weight to the outside. And we don't want to do that. We're better than that, aren't we? So we can do that much better. So that's how we're going to judge the severity of a bend using the limit point. So we're about to go and do a couple of bends in this road, so we can do that. And how are we going to share the risk on this? How do we want to approach this? Because we always give you this option, don't we? Sometimes I talk you through things, sometimes I give you a bit of prompting, sometimes when you've got it I let you get on with it and do it on your own. So as it's a new subject, what do you think would be an appropriate level of help? Full talk through? Okay, so I'll talk you through the bends. So I'll be saying when to check your mirrors, when to ease off, when to apply brakes to get that speed down. Now if I think you need to be braking more, I'll say brake more. If we arrive at that bend too fast, we need to make sure we're safe. So if I feel we're arriving there too fast, I've got a dual brake, I'll take the speed off with the brake, so we won't reach that bend too fast. But really don't want to do that, because I want you to be in control and doing that. So if you just listen to my instructions, if I say brake more, brake more. If we do end up in difficulty, like you're going wide on the bends, then I can always come in physically and take control of the steering wheel, but I want you to do the steering. So if we get in there at the right speed, the correct speed, then we should go around fine. But I just reserve that to keep us all safe, to intervene if I need to. So let's go focus on the bends, and on the way there'll be a section of straight where they'll have some warning sign and some hazards. So we can talk about those as well. So I can mention those, do a little bit. I can do a little commentary for you and talk you through how to do the bends. So it'll be a full instruction. Okay, for the first one, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll have a few attempts at it, and then I'll hand over responsibility. And I reckon by the end of this lesson, you'll be doing this section of road independently on your own, understanding how to do it. Happy with that as a plan?
Good.
Any questions? All right, good. Good. So I've just popped my seatbelt on, and I noticed you got your window open. So because we're going to go on higher speed roads, well, you've already done it. So why have you put your window up?
Going faster. Wind coming in the car slows down.
You won't be able to hear me.
I won't be able to hear you.
I'll be like, slow down now. So that'll help. If it gets warm, what could we do to
aircon
keep? We could. So are you happy where the aircon is? If you need to do that, or I can help you. It's always worth knowing where it is. If there's a tricky situation, you are too hot, too cold, just say to me and I'll do it. Okay, rather than you be distracted. But that is something going forwards where I need you to be able to do all the controls whilst you're driving. But just for the sake of this section of road, if we set it now, we've got the temperature just right. Good. So got some rain clouds building up. So what's the likelihood of a few drops of rain today? And are you familiar with where the window wipers are on this car? Do you want to just pop on the front window wipers for me, just to make sure you've got that? That's it, and then turn them off again. And could you put on the rear window wiper?
Oh, actually, I don't know.
That was worth doing, wasn't it? So on this car, the right stalk just pushes one click forwards away from you. There you go. So if you look at me here, you've got them all on now. So down one click to kill the front, it towards you to clear the rear.
Yeah.
So it's just worth doing that, because we don't want, if we start having a downpour, we don't want to be messing about getting distracted with not being able to see, do we? Because I reckon it will rain. There's a good chance of it. Okay, so we're going to head towards the exit of the car park. You've started your lesson from here many times before, so we've got 2 exits. Which exit are you going to go for today?
That one.
Okay, and how are you going to get there?
I go up and then left, or I could go through the gap.
You could do. What would be the safest option?
Go round.
Okay. Why are you not wanting to go through that gap there? What are the risks?
Could be able to hit a car on either side, or a vision.
Okay. So it's quite a tight gap, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some also, what's on the road there?
Bits of
debris. Looks like broken plastic, and it could be sharp. Do you know, I'd not prefer not to drive through that, just in case some of that is sharp. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
But other risks considered. Might someone get out of those cars?
Yeah.
They're black cars. They got privacy glass, quite hard to see in it. So a little kid could open the door, just go through. So you'd be cautious. So I think what you've said is a good option. So yeah, when you're ready, then, and look, what else is in the car park?
Children.
Children. What day is it? It's Monday. Why no school? I've seen a lot of kids today. You know, when we were talking that.
Yeah.
They had a kid, didn't they? The car next to us that were making a lot of noise. Did they have kids?
I think so. It's not bank holiday. It's next Monday. It's bank holiday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kids are off. Just worth considering, isn't it? That they might be out on their push bikes having a little country ride today. Because we're in a holiday area and we're doing near the Broads and all that. So anyway, so that's more to think about. So when you're ready, if you're happy, we'll head towards the exit.
Okay.
What do you think about this van? Has he come down the correct way?
No.
You alright? You alright? You got it? So good observations there before moving off, very good. And look, there she is again. She's got 2 trolleys. And look at that. Did she look? Just walked straight out in front of the car. So well done. So that's a bit of observation, anticipation, planning. We've observed children in the car park. We're anticipating that they might walk out in front, and the plan would be to slow down or stop. And just a quick question, what's the speed limit in the car park?
5.
Yeah? Yeah, I think the rain is on the cars. Over behind us, the clouds are quite dark. And at the exit, I'd like you to turn right. Good, and at the roundabout we're going to turn left. You happy dealing with the roundabout?
Yeah.
Done a few of them before, haven't we? So I'll leave that to you. And that's going to take us into the rural road. So as we go into the new road, I want you to have a little look at signs. Let you deal with this van. So as we get into the new road, there's going to be some signs, and I want you to just have a look and tell me what they mean.
Low bridge, national speed limit, and a weight restriction on lorries.
Okay. So if we get our eyes on full beam, look right down the road. Now we've got a little dip here with a limit point on the top of the brow. Yep. So the speed's correct, mirrors are checked, and now we go through and accelerate. Centre white line with long lines, what does that mean?
That's the centre line.
So we've got a hazard.
Not hazard.
Because they're long.
Yep.
And what's the warning sign coming up?
Sharp left. And
okay, yeah.
road on the right.
So check your mirrors, ease off the gas, and we start to deaccelerate. Over to the brake and press the brakes. So see the limit point ahead, it's not moving, is it? So we're just going to keep on the brakes. We've got debris on the road. Keep braking, clutch seconds. Off brakes, clutch up. Mirror check. Match the limit point. Just accelerate. You put a little bit of acceleration to go around the corner. Could probably go around there a little bit quicker, to be honest, but that's fine. Mirror check. Mercedes behind us, yeah?
Yep.
So now look at the next limit point. It's just running down the hill away from you. To de-accelerate, use a bit of brakes. Now when the limit point starts to move away, come off your brakes and accelerate. Keep left, keep left, keep left. So now you're drifting into the middle of the road. Now the white line finished there, didn't it?
Yeah.
And you've started to go over to the other side. So whatever tractor had been coming, be on their side, wouldn't it? So here's another bend, check mirrors. Just de-accelerate, look at the limit point, don't brake, just go over to the gas and look at the limit point's running, isn't it? Just accelerate and go with. There you go, keep the acceleration on, keep it on. Limit point's running, away we go, mirror check, and we're off that bend just by putting some light acceleration through. Now in the distance we've got a sign, a round sign, what's that telling us?
Speed limit.
So what we're going to do?
Check up mirrors.
And de-accelerate, that's it. Good job. Now we're into a village with a change of speed limit. So observation of their houses, no footpaths. So where would we anticipate pedestrians going to be? On the road. What's this sign telling us?
There's a giveaway coming up.
Okay, and at that junction we're going to go ahead.
Okay.
So it's a crossroads and I'd like to go ahead. In the new road, what does that sign tell us? That blue sign.
Dead end.
No through road.
No through.
So I'll let you deal with the junction. If you're happy to do that. Yeah, good observations, well done. And now here, just want you to keep left.
Okay.
Good mirrors. And if you could take the next right, that would just take us round this little green. Now notice you put the signal on. Who's the signal for?
No one.
No one? So did you check your mirrors before it?
Yeah.
So you knew no one was about. Did you need the signal?
No.
Does it matter that you did?
It's still a fault.
No.
Hmm?
Well, if you signal to no one, it don't matter. So, and I'd like you to pull up in a safe place on the left. Good. So just a little observation. I'm just going to talk about just something you're just doing when you come to a stop. Just a small thing.
Yeah.
As we're coming in towards the curb there, you're taking your hand off the steering wheel to put onto the gear stick.
Yeah, I shouldn't be.
Why are you doing that?
I don't know.
Do you think it just might be a habit?
Yeah.
Okay. So to stop, do you need to change gear?
No.
Okay. Imagine an emergency situation. Let's say a child ran out in front of you. You just had to stop the car. You'd keep your hands on the wheel, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why should you keep your hands on the wheel until you've stopped?
Maintain more control.
Yeah. More gives you more accuracy, doesn't it? And have you ever clipped the curb in your driving experience?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think you're more likely to clip a curb with one hand on the wheel or two? Two.
Oh.
You're more likely. No, you're right. I muddled it up. Yeah, you are more likely to clip a curb with one hand, aren't you? And you'll be safer with two hands. You'll have more accuracy, won't you?
Yeah.
So so just as you're coming to a stop, just think, well, you don't need to change gear, do you? You can just stop, handbrake, neutral, then do it all in one go.
Okay.
Very good. And we just mentioned about the signal.
Yeah.
So are you happy with that? That if you've checked your mirrors and there's no one to benefit, do you need one?
No.
But does it matter that you didn't? No, you said no. But then you said that it would be a fault.
I thought it would be.
No. Well, if you signal to no one, if you're confusing people for your signals, or signaling too early, or giving an inappropriate or incorrect signal, then it's a fault.
Okay.
But to signal to no one's not really. So I'm just getting you to think about your surroundings before you give information out to other road users. Okay, so let's review. If you just turn the key, just because the engine just started to run there after stop-start, and let's just review what we just did on the rural roads. So, tell me what went well.
Getting the speed of the vehicle down.
Yeah, you've reached the bends. So you feel you judged the severity of the bends
Yeah.
well? Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Looking at what you just did, what didn't go so well? Anything there that you think, oh, I could have done that a little bit better, or?
Two things: the speed, accelerating. I could have gone a bit quicker around the bends.
Yeah, we could do, but you know, it's just the first one you've done, so we're going to build on that. So definitely, we could make more progress in places, definitely. Because what would be the consequences if we are a bit slow? If we had a car behind?
I overtake.
Yeah. Now, as we went onto the country road, what vehicle was in front of us? We met it at the roundabout, come through the roundabout, and it was in front of us. What vehicle
The van.
we had?
White
Van, yeah. And then by the time we finished that section road, was that van in front of us?
No.
He was gone, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was through. And just as another question, because again, you know, for your driving for life, you might one day hire a van. National speed limit, you said, is 60 miles an hour for a car. What is it for that van, that transit type van?
Is it 50?
Yeah, so I have a different speed limit. So he's limited, and it was a company van. So
The only thing I was restricted, like speed limits on the vehicle. That's thinking as well.
Yeah, he won't have a limiter on it. He would just have to know that, and well, it might have at higher speeds, normally set at 60 miles an hour. So yeah, so he if he was obeying his speed limit, he was gone, and his maximum would have been 50. It's just a question. As soon as your theory's coming up, it's just good to know these things. So okay, so we agreed we could add a little bit more speed. So going forwards then, what do we need to do differently? Because we're going to go back on that same stretch of road and just have another go at it. So what do we need to do differently?
If the limit point's moving, then I can accelerate.
That's it. Yeah. So how much responsibility do you want for this going back? So the first one, I've helped you and I've told you when to check your mirrors, when to ease off, when to brake.
Just prompts.
So you'd like a little bit of prompt. So okay, so I can prompt you on this one. So I'll do that and we'll go back. Now we do need to talk about something that just happens on the way up.
Yeah.
About there was something I mentioned apart from your speed. What else happened?
The centre line disappeared. I went over slightly.
Yeah. So as I've got a bend here. So we was approaching a right bend. We went under the railway bridge, didn't we? And what happens in the position of your car as you come around this corner?
Come over to the other lane.
You come over. So I reckon you were sat. If there was a white line, you were over it. Yeah. Okay. So what's the consequence if there's a vehicle coming down here?
I'll be in my path.
Yeah. And so what's the consequence?
Cause an accident.
Worst outcome is you'll have a collision, won't you? And whose fault's that going to be?
Mine.
Yeah. So your insurance will be paying for that because you're driving alongside the road. So we want to make sure that's correct. So what would have been a better position to go around that corner in? What should you have done?
Stick to the left.
Yeah, we're going to keep well to the left. And if we keep well to the left, what will that do to your view?
See more.
You'll see more, won't you? Because if you think, let's do this limit point analysis. So we're coming up here before that bend. Bed is rumbling. Your line of sight is to that limit point. So there's the near side offside. So your limit point will be there. But if you keep more left, you're going to open up your view of the bend, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it'd be safer. So if we keep more left on approach to the right hand bend, not say left you in the potholes and all that kind of stuff, just keep it over well on your side.
More you see.
And see more. So when we do that, I'll remind you, keep that position over, okay? All right, so we're going to have another go, and this time you want more of less instruction, more of a prompt, so we can sort of see where you are.
Yeah.
And if I feel you're going in too fast or on the wrong side of the road, I'll intervene verbally and say, "Wait, get back over here," or slow down. And if you don't, I'll go for the old nuclear option and go physical and get you safe. Okay? I'll only do that for your safety and mine and my car. Don't want to smack my car in, do you? No. Okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so head towards the junction. Going to go ahead. Oh no, just a little correction. You said about the blue sign, dead ends.
Yeah.
Does it say dead end in the highway code? So what does it say?
Through road.
No through road.
No through.
That's it. Some people say no entry, which is incorrect.
Yeah.
So you're allowed up here, obviously, because we just did. All right, good. So when you're ready, then let's give that another go. So I'll just be Q&Aing you as we go this time, okay?
Yeah.
So I know what you're thinking. Well, I'm good. So you're responsible for the junction.
Yep.
And what hazards we got here?
Restricted view.
Yeah. And what about the pedestrian?
Yeah, pedestrians.
So we've got pedestrians, and we're going into a road with no footpaths, aren't we? Alright, cool. And what are the other observations? Apart from no footpaths in this road, what's at the side of the roads?
Bins.
And have the bins been collected?
No. That one's still full.
That's it. So what could we anticipate on this bit of road?
Bin lorries.
And then we're thinking about our plan.
Yep.
Might have to slow down, think about pedestrians walking in the road. So looking ahead, what signs have we got coming up?
That's your speed limit.
Okay, so what is the speed limit now?
60.
Could you do 60 down here?
You could, but it's not.
No, you can. So look at your limit point and use that to judge the safe speed. Think, what must you better do within that distance?
Yep, stop.
That's it. So keep looking at your limit point. Warning sign, you see that?
Yep.
Keep left, Jen. And what's the limit point doing now?
Increase.
So we could be going fast there.
Yep.
We could be following that. And now what warning signs we've got coming up next?
Narrow road, roads into one.
Yeah, mirrors. Then could you stop? Big lorry coming around this corner, could you? That's it. So that is the correct speed for this bend.
Yep.
Okay, and your night position's nice. Has anyone followed you?
Nope.
Okay. So what's the road doing now? Where's it going next?
Mountain right.
What position are you going to take?
To the left.
Keep it to left. And what does that do to your limit point?
Increase it.
Good. So get off your brakes. You don't want to be on your brakes through the bends. And now what's the limit point doing now?
Increasing.
Increasing, so less mirrors and add the speed up. And now where's the limit point? Got a dip in the road.
Yep.
So when the first dip, that's our limit point. Where that van nearly disappeared, didn't he? That's our first. Now we've got a second limit point. Mirror check, accelerate. So here we could add, there you go. So now you're 50 miles an hour. Feels alright, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think if we had the van in front of us this time, we'd be keeping up with it. Going to turn right at the roundabout. That's good. Good to see you doing your single input gears on your hazards.
We're going back round.
Yes, we're turning right. You've turned right. So what we're going to do now at the next roundabout,
Okay.
I'd like you to turn right, full fix it, and come back
Yep.
the way you've just come. Good, but so are you happy for us to go back and do that same little section of road?
Yep.
So we're going to do this without a little break. Are you happy to carry on, or do you need a break?
No, it's fine. Carry on.
Okay, that's where carry on. Good. So at the roundabout, we're going to be turn left, and we're going to repeat the same bit of route the same way you did it the first time.
Okay.
And this time, I'm going to hand more responsibility over to you. Did you feel confident at doing this on your own?
Yeah.
Okay. only intervene if I feel that we need to, if I feel an opportunity arises. Just want to ask you what's happening behind.
It's car behind.
Okay. And what speed are you at?
45.
Okay, cool. That's a good speed, yeah? Do you feel alright?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to leave the next bend and the limit points for you. So we've got a series of 3 bends coming up. Over to you. Good. Beautiful, magic. Everything done before the bend, well done. And just remind me what you're going to do with your position.
Stay to the left.
Good. See that double brake there, so you brake then brake again. So you hold the brakes until the limit point moves.
Yeah.
When the limit point moves, go over to the gas. So try that on this one. So keep on your gas, lift off. Don't brake, limit point's running. Just accelerate. Think of that car behind you wants to come past you. Just keep looking at the limit point's running. So if we met a pedestrian, we could deal with that, can't we? If we met a cyclist or a tractor coming on, we can see enough of that road ahead to keep on the acceleration. So we want to avoid that double brake. Just try and get your speed off with one clean brake.
Okay.
Good mirrors before the brake. Well done. So has the bins been since we last come up here? And do you think we might meet 2 bin lorries potentially?
Yeah, different side of the road.
Yeah, different colour bins.
Oh,
going to go ahead, yeah?
Yeah.
Same as before. Okay, so as we did before, keep left, take us around the green.
Yep.
This time, what are you going to think about?
Keeping both hands on the wheel.
Keeping what?
Both hands
Oh
on the
yeah,
wheel.
and what else?
If I need a signal.
Yeah, and do you this time?
Someone just going to that car.
Very good. How did you know?
I saw his lights come on and get into it.
So, how are yours reverse lights on?
I got some. Yeah.
They are now. That's it. So that's good anticipation. That's the OAP. We observed the man get in his car. We observed the brake lights on. Going to pull up on the left in a safe place. And what you can do with your hands.
Keep both hands on the wheel.
That's it. And why are we doing that?
Ball control.
That's it. Perfect. There you go. So it's like nice and efficient, isn't it? It's handbrake, neutral, cancel signal, all done. And we were just talking about the silver car there and the OAP. Observe it. Not he might be an OAP. I don't know. He might be actually. But you have the observation, anticipation, planning. So as you come around that corner, he was in reverse. He started to move towards you. What would be the plan B if you don't think he's not seen you?
Stop.
Stop.
Down, yeah.
What else could you do in that plan?
Press the horn.
Very good. So you could warn him of your presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Great. So let's review where we're at. So we've done that. We've come up that country road, 3 bends. We've gone back. We've come back again. And on the last one, you're out of 10. What would you give yourself on the last one back in?
9.
9. I would. Yeah, actually, yeah, I would agree. So why wasn't a 10? Where did you knock your
Double
point?
braking.
Okay, so double braking. How is your positioning?
Good.
Much better, wasn't it? And are you making more progress?
Yeah.
You are, definitely. So I think we need to raise the bar now and take you on some roads, some country roads that you haven't seen. Because I'd feel confident that you could do that. You've just done it on the way back pretty well. And why are we avoiding the double braking? Well, I mean, I am being quite fussy with you. What message does that send off to the car behind? Which we did have a car behind.
Hazard or something in front of us.
So yeah, think about it. You're approaching a bend. They see brake lights. Then the brake lights come off. What would they think at that moment?
They can accelerate.
That the bend's opens and you're going to go.
Yeah.
And then they see in 2 seconds later, the brakes come on again. And they think, whoa, maybe there was a tractor on that bend, or a cyclist, because if there was, then you would show them brake lights again. So we want to give good information to cars behind. So if you think of that limit point, let's say that's the limit point, and that's us coming towards it, it's fixed. We're braking till it moves. When it moves, you come off the brake, change gear, and match it.
Okay.
And avoid double repeating the sequence. It's like if when you first started, you'd go through too many gears. And you think, why do you do that? Just do a single gear change. We want a single brake input. Clear the brakes, gear, go. Unless more information comes on the bend, like there's a cyclist, and we then will bring in the brakes again to send the information. Cool.
Okay. Just overall, was there anything that people would normally do, or questions would ask, or anything out of the normal? Something I should know. Well,
it's like a lottery. People could do anything. They could have you obviously you're a driver and you're doing that quite capable. It's why I'm able to be fussy on a double brake, because I've got nothing else to go with. So I'm looking for perfection, and that's why it's a 9 out of 10. Whereas a learner in 3 attempts, we'd probably be at a 5.
Yeah.
And we'd be doing it again if it was their first go. But they might excel at it. With the right level of instruction and the right briefing, the right tools to do the job, you set your people up to succeed, because that's what they want to do. And then you can take away that support like a crutch. You can take it away and leave them on their own. Think, do you know what? You can do that on your own now. But everyone's different. Some people need a lot longer to get to that stage. I mean, it'd be unrealistic to take a learner who's never done this in 3 attempts, have you at a 9, and say, do you know what, we're moving on. If you've done this before, then we could do, I would reckon. But again, every people's different. Sometimes you get exceptional learner drivers that just get it. They've just got a natural ability to do it. Some really struggle, so we would adapt the lesson to meet those needs.
Okay.
So what would happen now with this lesson? I would raise the bar and we'd go on to a new route to challenge you, because now I feel I can delegate limit point analysis to you and judge it with a little bit of help with judging the limit point. You're just off the brake too early, then because you've not let the limit point run.
Yeah.
So that's all I would be working with you now. But if I were to continue up and down here with you, if I was on a part through a standard check, I'd be like, whoa, you need to raise the bar. It was too easy. They've achieved that. Move on.
Yeah.
Don't waste. Give them good value for money. Don't just keep repeating the same stuff. Trying to, give them value. Get them out there. Get them doing more. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. But as soon as you stumble and you can't get over, then we might lower the bar and say, we need to come back down. We need to go back here and take a step back and just get you to do that bit again. So it's always the client-centered, matching your pupils' needs all the time. It's raw roads. I mean, so should we just end that bit there? Yeah. Because that gives you an idea. And then we'd go on, we'd be cooking on gas now, doing loads more.